For every gargantuan stadium or stratospheric skyscraper that makes it off the architect's drawing board onto the real-world skyline, hundreds never see the light of day. Perhaps they're too expensive or impractical to build with the available technology of the day. Some were always insane, while others could deserve a second hearing. Join us now as we rummage through the architect's wastepaper bin for a look at some incredible megaprojects that never happened. 1. Hyperbuilding. The timeline of human habitation can broadly be characterized as nomadic hunter-gatherers settled down, discovered agriculture and built towns, which eventually grew into cities. So what's the next step? Cities that are all made in one go. Starchitect Rem Koolhaas certainly thinks these integrated cities are the way forward, as seen in this so-called hyperbuilding concept. The proposed site chosen by Koolhaas's firm OMA for its speculative hyperbuilding was an unused green reserve located on the west bank of the Chao Phraya River in Bangkok. Bangkok was chosen, says Koolhaas's pitch, because Bangkok is a city of crisis, from its traffic to its haphazard development to its politics. Instead, 120,000 people would live, work, and play in one uber-organized utopian megastructure. The hyperbuilding would have 6 main internal streets, with conventional and high-speed elevators linking the upper levels and a 12-kilometer pedestrian promenade that snakes from the base of the building to its summit. There's a generous 5.5 million square meters of residential space, with an additional 120,000 square meters set aside for restaurants. Museums and galleries would occupy 80,000 square meters. For now, alas, this ambitious hyperbuilding looks set to remain hyperbole. 2. Crystal Island. Another city in microcosm, this futuristic pointy ice palace from architects Foster & Partners is named Crystal Island and already technically has planning permission. If Crystal Island ever does go ahead, occupying a peninsula on the Moscow River just miles from the Kremlin, it'll be by some way the largest building on Earth by volume and floor space. Crystal Island's spiraling form creates a tent-like outer structure that's designed to keep out the Russian cold, but can open up to provide natural ventilation in summer. It'll incorporate 3,000 hotel rooms and 900 serviced apartments, plus offices and shops, a 500-student international school, and 2 viewing platforms at different stages up the 450-meter-tall pinnacle. It'll have at least 1 IMAX cinema, a theater, museums, and 14,000 underground car parking spaces. In addition to its 2.5 million square feet of floor space, the lines of those natty spirals extend out into a broad landscaped park, where inhabitants can play football, boat on a lake, and cross-country ski in wintertime. What's holding it up? Financial backing evaporated after the 2008 financial crisis, never to return. 3. Shimizu Megacity Pyramid. Japan is a challenging environment to build on. Mountainous and prone to earthquakes with an already outsized population, virgin sites are practically non-existent. Enter the Shimizu Megacity Pyramid, a proposed 2,000-meter-high monster capable of housing 750,000 people out on the water of Tokyo Bay. Solar panels and algae on the outside would power the many skyscrapers inside this modern-day ziggurat, which itself will be made of carbon nanotubes capable of withstanding intense tectonic stresses and tsunamis. Oh, and it'll be built by autonomous robots. The name Shimizu comes from the company that first floated the idea, a civil engineering firm more noted for its bridges and airport terminals. So this is most likely a clever PR stunt, or perhaps some manner of pyramid scheme. 4. The Illinois. Frank Lloyd Wright, that titan of American architecture, was 89 years old when he proposed this mile-high, 528-story Chicago skyscraper in the mid-50s. Its only contemporary rival, the Empire State Building, has just 102 stories, by the way. And even now, Wright's tower would be twice as tall as the Burj Khalifa. When he unveiled his plans to an awed press conference in October 1956, even his schematic drawing was 25 feet tall. Despite its city center location, the mixed-use tower would offer 15,000 parking spaces and 100 helipads, not to mention 76 elevators, each 5 stories high, traveling at 60 miles per hour and all atomic-powered. Steel, as opposed to reinforced concrete, was the proposed material. It would have moved around in high winds and caused great discomfort to inhabitants of higher stories. Wright thought his tripod-style structure would have combated this. He would have been wrong. 5. The Metropolitan Sepulchre. Popularly known as the Death Pyramid, which itself sounds like a banging grunge band, this mooted Victorian monolith was dreamt up to solve a problem that has long bedeviled city planners. Basically, where do we put all the dead people? In 100 years from the mid-18th century to the mid-19th century, London's population surged from less than 1 million to nearly 3.5 million. This was thanks to increased prosperity in the wake of the Industrial Revolution, and improved sanitation and healthcare initiatives. And the Empire, probably. Anyway, London's graveyards were already bursting since the time of the medieval plagues, so drastic action to deal with the cemetery crisis was needed. Entrepreneurial architect Thomas Wilson galvanized Britain's contemporary infatuation with all things Egyptian and proposed a gigantic pyramid-shaped mausoleum that could hold 5 million dead Londoners. It would have occupied 18 acres in Primrose Hill and risen to a then unprecedented 94 stories. A businessman through and through, Wilson reckoned Londoners would pony up £50 per vault, and at the going rate of 40,000 burials a year, his Pyramid General Cemetery Company could rake in about £10 million. Alas, nobody else saw his point. 6. India Tower. Mumbai has undergone many radical changes over the past few decades, but despite its meteoric rise in wealth and prominence on the global stage, Mumbai lacks a coherent architectural symbol, or at least one that looks forward rather than backwards at its colonial past. Rem Koolhaas, him again, hopes to combat Mumbai's inevitable boom in Dubai-style identikit towers with India Tower, a striking tubular structure with a gap, which is actually the lobby, halfway up. The Sky Lobby is an intersection of all paths within the tower, gushes the architect's website, and a panoramic platform for any possible activity to unfold. Sadly, this visionary tower looks set to remain a disjointed fantasy. 7. Hotel Attraction. Antoni Gaudí was a Catalan architect most famous for his work in Barcelona, in particular the soaring, majestic church of the Sagrada Familia. His distinctively trippy, colourful, and above all organic brand of modernism almost made it to the skyline of Lower Manhattan, according to these tantalising sketches from 1908. Taller than the Empire State, Gaudí's hotel attraction was impractical, as its designer's vision was uncompromising. To this day, due to its scale and complexity, his Sagrada Familia is still not completed, despite having broken ground in 1882. What do you think? Which of these unbuilt megastructures would you most like to see IRL? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more thoroughly edifying tech content.